The Voice in Speech and Song, Chapter 20, Adaptation to his listeners. Truth as people could bear it. Christ drew the hearts of his hearers to him by the manifestation of his love, and then, little by little, as they were able to bear it, he unfolded to them the great truths of the kingdom. We also must learn to adapt our labors to the condition of the people, to meet men where they are. Varied messages for different audiences. His, Jesus' messages of mercy were varied to suit his audience. He knew how to speak a word in season to him that is weary, for grace was poured upon his lips that he might convey to men in the most attractive way the treasures of truth. He had tact to meet the prejudiced minds and surprise them with illustrations that won their attention. Through the imagination, he reached the heart. Language of common life. Learn of Jesus. He was the greatest teacher the world ever knew, yet he spoke in the language of common life. He met the necessities of all. He adapted his instruction to all times and places, to both the rich and the poor, the educated and the ignorant. He ever dwelt upon the grandest themes that can engage the attention, and he presented them in such a form and used such illustrations that the feeblest intellects could grasp his meaning, while the most intelligent minds were attracted and instructed. Access to all classes of people. Christ met the case of every class in the subjects and manner of his teaching. He dined and lodged with the rich and the poor, and made himself familiar with the interests and occupations of men, that he might gain access to their hearts. The learned and the most intellectual were gratified and charmed with his discourses, and yet they were so plain and simple as to be comprehended by the humblest minds. Lessons adapted to need. The respect shown to Christ at the feasts he attended was in marked contrast to the manner in which the scribes and Pharisees were treated, and this made them envious. Christ gave lessons adapted for the needs of his hearers. No abrupt actions nor prescribed rules. Jesus found access to minds by the pathway of their most familiar associations. He disturbed as little as possible their accustomed train of thought by abrupt actions or prescribed rules. He honored man with his confidence, and thus placed him on his honor. He introduced old truths in a new and precious light. The truth came from his lips, beautiful in its simplicity, yet clothed with dignity and power. Various methods to gain attention. From Christ's methods of labor, we may learn many valuable lessons. He did not follow merely one method. In various ways he sought to gain the attention of the multitude, and, having succeeded in this, he proclaimed to them the truths of the gospel.